Brodes Media.
Unreal, isn't it? Something that I saw coming a mile away. And I'm not proud of it. It's a shame. This is going to go down in history as arguably one of the dumbest decisions made by Jeffrey Lurie and Howie Roseman to keep Nick Sirianni for the 2024 season. It does suck that finally football is back and nothing is better than sports in the fall, and it's already ruined. And not for 1 second am I going to be blinded by a 2-2 record. Nick Sirianni himself said it. When you turn the rock over as much as you are, and when you lose the turnover battle as much as you do, you have no business being 2-2. It's the truth. They're not a good football team. They were getting out-yarded 254-0. They missed 15 tackles. Was it 16? Was it 17? They missed a ton of tackles. There's real problems here. There's a reason why I acted the way that I did heading into this 2024 campaign. It wasn't because I wanted to do it. Quite frankly, I was getting annoyed just as much as I'm sure you were with hearing me. And I get it. The delivery sometimes can be a little odd. But I want you to open up your ears and really listen to what I say sometimes logically and remove the goofiness. The Eagles had a Nick Sirianni problem, and they decided to stay with him. And now they're paying for it. It's week 4, and I have a list of monster problems that just happened after this one particular game. This is the week 4 edition, and this list is long enough that it should be for an entire season's worth of struggles with a locker room. Brandon Graham, according to Jeff Kerr of CBS Sports, held a team meeting after the game. I already had to sit through a situation where the Eagles lost one of the most heartbreaking games in franchise history, regular season-wise. The way they fell against the Atlanta Falcons was absolutely gut-wrenching, unacceptable, and the head coach didn't speak. Now, just 2 weeks later, after this entire locker room was flexing their damn muscles after winning against the Saints, I guess they were smelling themselves big time. Because they sure were taking off their shirts, flexing, because they won a road game week 3. Here's reality. They got smacked with it big time in Tampa. It's pathetic. The way they boasted. And to put out that crap effort just 7 days later, shame on you. I guess you thought it was just going to be easy the rest of the way for whatever reason. Where's the pride? Seriously. But on the Nick Sirianni front, this was never going to work. And now I'm seeing 2 weeks after Jalen Hurts was the messenger, now Brandon Graham is walking in there trying to inspire the fellas. So if Nick doesn't call plays, if he's not involved in the offense, if he doesn't really have say with what Vic Fangio is doing, and he's not talking to the team in highly emotional locker rooms, what does he do? I want to know what he does. He's supposed to build culture, right? Okay, let's get to the next piece of information we learned after the game was over. 1, 2, 3, 4. Count it. 4 players go to social media and start spewing garbage. Darius Slay shows his accolades. How many pass breakups, how many interceptions, and then turns his account private. All right, leader. Isaiah Rodgers putting out a tweet about how we all mess up at our jobs. This is the same guy, by the way, who didn't know the rules when it comes to punt coverage. He actually thought he was making a savvy veteran move by throwing a body into Cooper DeJean. He thought he was doing something creative. And that also reflects the head coach, because if you don't remember, weren't we cracking up at other teams for not knowing rules? The 49ers. If any other team was dealing with this, we'd be laughing in their face at how dysfunctional their franchise is acting. If this was Dallas, and to some degree, yeah, Dallas is getting absolutely annihilated by their fans as well. But we can't be blinded by anything. This was staring at us right in the face. I'm surprised it took 4 weeks. And it really didn't, right? Because I've been aggravated from the jump for many different reasons. This is just the week 4 edition. But you can't get out-yarded by 255 yards and think that you're all good. You can figure it out. They were not prepared to play in that heat. There's a difference between maybe one guy struggling with dehydration, needing fluids, blah, 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 and then the whole team. And if I'm going to go out on a limb here, I'm going to take a wild guess and assume that they weren't as conditioned as they needed to be to play in that environment. And it's not as if you find out where you're playing 3 days before you go. You knew forever now. We are going to Tampa. It is going to be hot. It's going to be late September. We need to be in a prime position to compete at a high level to put us in a good spot to win the football game. That's the coach of a job. Let me put these players in a good position. They were not put in a good position. I'm not a big training camp. They need to, go back to 2-a-days and throw up in their mouth and swallow it, and that's how they get liquid. I'm not going back to the old days. But they did not look to be prepared from a physical football standpoint. And then they were also prepared to not have Devontae and A.J. Brown. And if Jalen Hurts can only operate with A.J. and Devontae Smith, then you have a major quarterback problem, which we probably do have anyway. I'm now starting to wonder if he's more Kirk Cousins and more Daniel Jones than he is, whoa, look at what Jaden Daniels is doing. Look at the teams that have that threat and that guy year in and year out, and someone who is a franchise changer. Kirk isn't a franchise changer. He's fine. Daniel Jones is less than Kirk, but he's closer to Kirk than not. He's all right, there's a cap on it. You can ask him maybe to survive for a little bit of time. Daniel Jones being the floor version of this, Kirk Cousins probably being the ceiling version of that tier. But Jalen's in that range. Throwing a wobbly duck out of bounds when Saquon is as wide open as he is, that's unacceptable. But wait, so Isaiah Rodgers thinking that he's savvy, that's crazy. Mekhi Becton was posting on his Instagram story a picture of someone poorly dressed and saying, remember, this is the guy you're talking to on the other side of the keyboard. So maybe he was making fun of Slay. Maybe he was making fun and taking shots at some of his teammates, or he's ripping the fans that have an opinion on it. And then lastly, Devin White was congratulating the Buccaneers for making plays. When Jalen Hurts is sitting in the pocket too long and the ball gets stripped and he's getting sacked, he's live tweeting mid-game, showing his love towards the guys on Tampa Bay. To me, this is all on culture, right? Well, the one thing I thought Nick was supposed to be doing was to have the culture set. This is a mess. It's a mess. It was always going to be a mess. It's been a mess for a while. It's the truth.